I am Daz. Another piece of modern trickery on the bench. It's this time it's a PIR lamp. This is the top section of it. Doesn't work. Doesn't seem to charge, so I'm just going to have a quick look at it just to see if I can figure anything out. Well, this looks quite well integrated, doesn't it? There's a lithium cell, a couple of wires from the solar panel, a board. I wonder if that's got a blob on it. Have a look in a minute. Pyro sensor. Zoom in so we can see a bit better. Yeah. So, it's pyro sensor and battery. I suppose the first thing to do is to see if there's any power on that battery. Let's have a look. That's not very promising, is it? Half a volt. Well, the solar panel's obviously working. Got 2.25 volts there. Might have to get a new battery. Not sure about charging a battery that's gone that low. Here's a close-up of the board. That looks like the PIR sensor IC. It's one of those biz ones. That transistor looks like it's switching the lamp. It's one of those ambiguous 5-pin ICs, which I assume is controlling the charge to the battery. So there we go, that's the circuit board. It's quite populated, isn't it? It's quite a lot on there. I don't know what Q5 is it a voltage regulator? I did wonder. I'd imagine there might be one on here, but it's only a single cell battery, so I was a little surprised to see this had a lithium ion battery in. I've always thought garden lights had even lithium polymer or the lithium phosphate batteries, which are a bit less volatile. But anyway, I've clipped 5 volts across it, current limited to 40 milliamps, and I'm just going to see what happens to the cell. It's a little bit risky, but I've got a fire extinguisher on hand. I know certainly they don't advise trying to charge batteries that are sunk below 2.5 volts, but in this case I'll take a punt with a very small amount of current and just see if it comes up. If not, I'll have to get a new cell, but it's a bit disappointing buying something and the cell's flat. Looking how it's wired, the switch is in the ground. I'll have to trace that out and see how that's working, but interesting to see. Yellow wire for negative on the solar panel. I thought the switch, when it was off, actually disconnected the battery, but I'll check that. So looking at this, the battery negative is actually switched off, so why the battery's gone flat by itself I don't know, unless it's a protected cell and the internal circuitry has flattened it, but not so good. Still fiddling with this lamp, and yeah, that is a shunt circuit for the voltage regulation. I was just curious to find out. What it appears to be, I'll zoom the right way, appears to be that you have a shunt regulator. There's a 2.5 volt shunt diode with feedback via a couple of resistors. So when this reaches 2.5 volts, this PNP transistor shunts the solar panel out to limit the voltage to the cell. It obviously happens on the other side of the back protection diode. The only thing I've noticed is it's not very accurately set. what we got there, 4.6 volts. It's a little bit on the high side, isn't it? I thought lithium iron's supposed to be around 4.2. I'm no expert on them, but yeah. Right, well, I'm not sure why I'm doing this, but I've inserted a 270k resistance here with the 1 meg on the bottom of the divider, and now that looks a little bit more where it wants to be, so I'm more or less happy with that now. So after all that mucking around, I might be able to actually use the light now, but how odd. Right, so I think that's enough time wasting with this. This is one of these ones with a PIR that goes up in level, as I think I explained at the beginning of the video. Ooh, cool, that is bright. The current when it's doing that at 3.7 is 620 milliamps, and those LEDs get damn warm. So you wouldn't want to be triggered too often. I think it's 23 milliamp when it's low, and I guess with a 1200 milliamp hour battery, that's going to last quite a few days even without sun, assuming you've got it fully charged. And when I lift it up and make it go off, it drops about half a milliamp, so that's not too bad current. But anyway, so the battery seems fine despite being down that low. But lithium iron's a little temperamental. I'm not quite sure about putting it in outside lamps, but there we go. Anyway, thanks for watching, and yet another time waster video. And hopefully get back to getting on with this radio. I'm currently working on a few other things.